Hello, everyone. This is Mohammad Sharairi, Assistant Professor in College of Business at Al Ain University. Today, I would like to present my paper titled Comparing the Corporate Social Responsibility Reporting Practices between Australia and Indonesia. The Corporate Social Responsibility Guidelines and Order are different and unique across Indonesia and Australia. This can be due to a difference in monitoring configuration and recognizing the regions where various exist. This paper systematically inspects major differences across developing as well as developed nations regarding corporate social responsibility reporting practices. The work focuses in reference to Australia and Indonesia. Importance was given in identifying and justifying the factors that affect the level of corporate social responsibility disclosure. Additional area of company financial performance was also included. This paper made an attempt to showcase considerable differences in the CSR reporting practices for the top 50 companies in the two countries. Corporate social responsibility CSR disclosure or reporting has trending as one of major concerns in the day-to-day life. The various firms should validate their pledge towards the upcoming need, thought a progressive plan. The continuous fall of local and global crises across various sectors have made a higher social disclosure practices of the companies. The nature in which things are moving in the later global financial crisis era in the form of social pressure towards various financial activities for social disclosure have shown increasing trend. Achieving sustainable development in business can be achieved with various ways. One of the way can be by corporate social responsibility, and it can play a key role. As a liable management course of action to connect with placards, the press of the CSR is a renewed channel by which an organization unveils many things. The aim of the present paper intends to cover a snippet overview of issue related to identifying the various areas where transformation exists. The true sense of social corporate border and commercial sustainability reporting has now become a business trend. Commercial sustainable reporting also refers to CSR, civil impact, public and concern reporting. The main intention of the paper is focused on two objectives. First, to explore the CSR reporting practices among developed and developing countries, for these two countries are considered, namely Indonesia and Australia. Second, to list out various factors which shall affect the level of CSR revelations. In addition, the influence on the company physical performance shall be commented. In our literature review, many researchers have reported an application of the CSR across firms as one of the major management tools. Helps of the researchers such as Basil and Erlandos 2008, Terska 2016, Hermanson 2009, etc. They all stated or explained the image of the CSR operating in firms was noticed and reconnected in terms of disclosure in the yearly official documentation of companies across the globe. However, limited studies have been carried out with respect to the investigation of the CSR disclosure across development and developing countries, but still wide scope of exploration can be done. To be more precise in terms of the judgment between the developed and developing countries, for instance, two countries can be taken up as Australia and Indonesia. Many researchers have focused their work area by considering only one country. Some of the examples could be developing countries in Asia, such as Chappell and Moon 2005. Another study for De Vellier and Van Stam 2006 explained the CSR in Africa. Further, in considering developed countries such as Van der Leyen Smith and Tadka 2005, which stated the US and Europe CSRs. Some of the researchers, such as Hoy and Carroll 2012, took a study focused on the type of environmental data published in the yearly reports for major popular Chinese firms. In reviewing the literature on corporate disclosure, a study was done by Taylor 2009, have emphasized that high quality disclosure is positively linked to the accuracy and negatively linked to the earning forecast of analysts. Disclosure can actually benefit for shareholders, however, it's expensive and can cause harmful effects. In our theoretical framework, explain the era of the CSR has been considered and analyzed from various ways by the standpoint of theoretical view. The conventional way of approach by the company was to focus only on generating the profits. However, there are numerous researchers who have highlighted the importance of responsibilities which a company should obey. An attempt to showcase the two-way responsibility between set of stakeholders and commercial entities. The significant impact of stakeholder theory, which gets influenced by the perspective of private corporate group. Due to strong bonding with the agencies, these set of groups have an influence on the companies of their interests to be looked after. Divested when there's presence of the multiple parties, so it's highly recommending to consider the stakeholders' perspective and modify the upcoming events, policies, as well as development. One of the popular theory which deals with the CSR reporting is called legitimacy theory. It can be considered as widespread awareness or hypothesis that the activities of an system are anticipated, advantageous, or wanted within some publicity constructed system of rules, regulations, and beliefs. The main intention of the legitimacy theory indicates to companies that each firm should be able to showcase their social and environmental event are well under the community norms. Further, the actions are professed by the local community to be legitimate or at least fall under the hopes of the society. The other theory which is relevant to this study and CSR is known as institutional theory. This theory deals with a discussion regarding the behavior of the companies to take on similar features and forms. A unique organizational forms can be developed in virtue to welcome legitimacy toward the firm. Companies imitate because they are benefited for performing activities. This theory connects firm activities as accounting and business updates to the ethics of a community and theory presents administrative legitimacy. As a result, certain groups with particular guidelines should consider similar practices. Basically, indicate the scenario where an organization's external guidelines are unlike for the internal guidelines. In our research method, the present work enabled data from Australia Stock Exchange and the Indonesian Stock Exchange. The collected data corresponds to year 2017 and 18. The main source was annual accounts from popular companies since desired data was mainly open for this particular years. Based on market capitalization in Australia and Indonesia, the sample was considered. In total, 50 companies were shortlisted, 25 each from Australia as well as Indonesian Global Reporting Initiative, GRI, indicators. Corresponding to each criterion were enabled as a rule so as to carry out content investigation of the CSR disclosure performing in yearly report. The detailed subject analysis of selected firms was completely based in CSR. Disclosure in the annual report, in total of 25 companies in terms of market share, corresponding to Australian as well Indonesian, has taken consider by openly available annual report, while 25 companies listed was shortlisted from market capitalization listing. The listing was carried out from both Australia Securities Exchange and Indonesia Stock Exchange. The main analysis was based on the GRI requirement with respect to report from all the 50 companies. The analysis was carried out based on the various ideas, such as commercial nature and the labor practices, also quality of work. The main outcome delivered from the data analysis was the pitch. To what level the top 25 companies across Australia and Indonesia are following up GRI rules and regulations in their respective CSR reporting. In other words, we would be able to justify the present sustainability reporting activities for the firm which enable GRI values in both Indonesia and Australia. With the help of GRI index, the most of the necessary information can be collected in total. The three areas can be covered with respect to the GRI, namely economic, environmental, and social. The preliminary outcome of the content investigation is reported by considering information from GRI supplies with respect to reports from both Indonesia and Australia, as shown in the following tables. The complete investigation was based on the platform which covers CSR reporting with respect to companies applying for GRI. When information comes to Indonesia, some firms restrict themselves up to the coverage of 0. Some goes halfway, and a few companies covers complete. However, it can be noted that not all the firms consider exactly the same technique in their reporting. This information can be revolved from GRI index to be precise. The three pillars are covered in the GRI index, namely economic, environmental, and social. When it comes to the social features, 4 sub-areas are selected, namely labor exercise and civilized work, human relatives, society, and creation accountability, whereas the 79 indicators are split in 3 categories. For economic, it's 9 indicators, while environment and social, it's 30 and 40 indicators, respectively. Next, social indicators split in 4 classes, namely labor exercise and civil work, human morality, society, and creation accountability, with indicator of 49, 8, and 9, respectively. And for each indicator, the companies try to portray their coverage by putting in category of fully covered or partially covered, as shown in the presented tables. The paper projects a detailed analysis of various countries on reporting to comply their stakeholder expectation, even though they can be done with respect to single GRI guidelines. With the snipped overview, it can notice that there is presence of variation across CSR reporting practices among top 50 companies and relevance to Australia and Indonesia, and was much clear that CSR reporting was principally volunteer in Australia and Indonesia. The main aspect of the study can be countries, context, as well as a type of company shall make a great impact on the CSR reporting in comparison with CSR reporting style. The role of stakeholder had changed a lot. Now, a global perspective, there's an presence of higher expectations from stakeholders. The stakeholders are looking more and focusing on issues such as limpidity and liability, which holds good for all the different firms with respect to the CSR reporting. A strong force can be noticed to make sustainability reporting and compulsory initiative in Australia. With this present work, a complete analysis is projected with Australia and Indonesia with respect to reporting. A unique relationship can be built up with the help of the GRI benchmark between companies' performance and stakeholders, focusing and giving financial crisis. In addition, this will help to make financial activities work more smoothly, since GRI can be placed under universal guidelines, hence international companies can operate in many markets. On the other hand, smaller or local companies can follow up with national guidelines since it's more flexible. Finally, there's at most regulatory of CSR reporting across the globe, and there's a requirement for global guidelines. At the moment, it may tedious to bring up such flat ways which smoothly adjust the CSR reporting requirement for all the countries. Thank you very much for your listening.